So I was sitting here reviewing my videos this morning, well, this afternoon, thinking about what I'm gonna do, looking at what I've already done. And this little jumping spider come hop. It's been annoying me. I knocked it on the ground like 4 times. And then like suddenly I was looking to my right shoulder because I saw something under my chin sliding from my shoulder to my chin on my beard. So I looked down and it's crawling. It was like crawling through the air on like I don't know how it was doing. It was like made a web or something. And this bad boy, I flicked it and it fell. And then I tried to thump it and it anticipated it. It fell on my knee. It anticipated the thump, so it jumped before I could flick my finger. It jumped off to the right of my knee. I'm sitting down. I look over to the right of my knees to see where it's hanging. I'm like, oh, it left the web and it's hanging in the air. Nope. This bad boy jumped to the side of my knee, then jumped up in the air. The wind was blowing, right? This thing was like half the size of my pinky nail, which is not big. It was like a quarter the size of my pinky nail. Just take my pinky nail and chop it into a quarter piece. Yeah, it was like that big. Maybe even half that size. This guy freaking jumped up in the air. The web it had been trailing the web from my shoulder to my chin to my knee. It jumped up in the air. The wind caught the web. And I'm looking for it to land. Nope. The wind, when it jumped up in the air, the wind took this bad boy like it had a cape, like Superman. I was thinking Spider-Man for real. I'm like, what the hell? This thing went flying up in the air. I'm like, what the hell? It flew from my knee up it went in like a, how do you say, a sloping rise. The way that it flew up, it was crazy. It flew up, man. I don't know if this thing was throwing web and hanging web at the same time, but it flew up and away, off into the sky. This was not a fly. This was a spider. And I used to have nightmares about these little things when I was young, because I had a nightmare about one being about the size of my hand, and it was made in a laboratory and broke out, and it could turn invisible, and its bite was deadly, like Predator. But it was, and this thing could jump like very, very far, like across the room onto you, and you're done. You take out a whole room of soldiers like that, pretty much. Lickety split. But yeah, that's so I've always kind of like fancied, paying attention to these little guys. But that was impressive. I'm not gonna lie. I did not expect. I've watched these guys all my life and all my years, ever since I was like 5 years old, maybe 6 years old. Because when it jumped on my forehead and then crawled down the bridge of my nose and turned around and looked me in the eyes, and I looked cross-eyed to look at it, and I flipped out and went screaming and had a phobia of them until I learned, for like years, until I learned later on that they didn't bite humans. I started learning that certain insects that look scary are not aggressive. But yeah, that was, I've watched them all my life, and I've never ever seen them do that. Like, I know it was the wind that took it. The wind was kicking just a little. It kicked up just in time. Just as I went to getting at it, the wind kicked up and this thing flew. I'm watching one chase a fly right now. It's over here hunting flies. Fly bigger than it is. Just hopping along trying to get it like Pepe Le Pew. But yeah, the one I just saw, it wasn't that one. The one I saw was light skinned, like white, pretty much like an ivory. It was nice and beautiful white, almost like you could. Yeah, it was just white, like tan maybe. But yeah, man, I'm impressed. I know that we're not supposed to be worshiping the beast and stuff like that. But damn, there's not a tree around in my vicinity. I didn't know these things get. I knew that spiders can get up in the atmosphere and fly across the world. I knew that. But I thought it took a lot of balloon, like a lot of web, to get up. But the way that these things jump, it seems that they can accelerate the web that they produce faster than other spiders, like exponentially. Because the way that thing hopped off and took off and flew up, it looked like it was flying with its arms forward like Superman. And it went up. I just like, it was a spider. It was like, it's not a fly, it's not a moth, it's not a dragonfly, not a bee, not a wasp. That was a spider. Incredible. Like, the way that thing moved, I bet you those things could hop on birds and take a flight and just get up in the sky. But like, that's crazy, bro. Like, now this brings me to something else. I'm glad that I mentioned that this caught my eye, because I was kind of wanting to mention this. It speaks of webs and spider webs in the Bible, and it talks about false sense of security and safety, and building shelter and stuff like that, like with cobwebs that get torn down, and nice palaces and stuff like that. But what I started to realize was, I said, well, how is, like, I know the process of how snow is made. Snow is made from dust particles or microscopic particles. 80% of snow is dust, if I'm not mistaken. And 80% of dust is dead skins. 100% of snow usually is, 99.9% of snow is dust. Like, every individual snowflake forms around an individual piece of dust. Okay? But every dust is made of 80% human dead skin cells. Okay? The dust in the sky that falls out the air that makes snow is mostly dead human skin cells. Okay. Now, they're high up in the atmosphere, okay? Now, I'm thinking, I did notice that, and I never really paid attention to how high up these things can get with the webs. When I was talking about the orbs years ago, I was like, hey man, you can see these orbs in the sky. You just got to put like something to shield the sun from your eyes, and you'll be able to see these things. And I said, you'll notice bugs flying by in their wings, and you'll see spider webs floating in the sky just above your head. and it'll be pretty lively, especially like on a windy day, a sunny day, spring and stuff like that. It'll be pretty lively. See cottonwood floating up there and everything, right? It'll be pretty busy up in the atmosphere, but you don't really see that with the sun unobstructed in your, like, because of the corona of the sun blocks your view from seeing that much. But what happens is when you block the corona of the sun, when you block the sun or eclipse the sun from your point of view, you begin to see all of these little sparkling wings and webs, vibrating sparkling wings and webs, and then you'll see the orbs that move in laser trajectory. They do not sway in the wind, and they mostly go all in the same direction underneath the sun usually. But the spider webs, I did notice that the spider webs don't really have a limit. Those spider webs, think about it. Those spider webs up there long enough can spin probably, I don't know, man. Who knows? What's the longest web ever recorded without breaking? I don't know. It depends on the humidity, the moisture, or whatever, dew point maybe, elevation, temperature, I don't know. But these spiders can get up in the stratus, like upper, how high can they get? I think they get up like as high as the top of hurricanes, like up there with eagles and shit. Like up there. They may be up there with like astronauts, bro. For real. Let me see. Let's see. Highest. What is the highest a spider can balloon? Five kilometers, 16,000 feet above sea level. Allows spiders to travel significant distance and sometimes even over thousands of miles from land using their silk threads to catch the wind. Says ships mid-ocean have reported spider landings. That's how they get on a new continent. They have been detected in atmospheric data balloons collecting air samples slightly less than 5 kilometers above sea level. Evidently, ballooning is the most common way for spiders to invade isolated islands and mountaintops. What? Spiderlings are known to survive without food while traveling in the air currents of jet streams for 25 days or longer, bro. Oh, sheesh. They can survive in waves of up to half a meter in height. And they can propel themselves across the water. And their silk anchors them in place. Adaptations. Okay, understood. I just want to get that across. I just want to, like, these cats can take off and just go up, up, and away, like Superman. Spiders can just go up, up, like Spider-Man. Just like Spider-Man, how he just shoot the web up and just start going up through the city, just flipping all out, just real fast. That's pretty much how old boy did. Like I said, I don't know if he shot web and had some web coming out the back like Spider-Man, but he was gone, bro. He was gone. He was up and away. That was incredible. I don't think like it's just I think they're capping. I think they're capping. If you can get up to the jet stream, I think they're capping. I think it gets higher than that. I think they get it. Come on now. We done seen mice on the ISS outside walking on the damn docks. Come on now. What are these spiders doing? And hold on. We be talking about nanobots. We've been talking about nanobots like flies and mosquitoes. But like I said, I've never witnessed a damn jumping spider take off flying like Superman. And it just happened. It's incredible. Like, is this a real spider? Or is this like a nano spider? Nanobot spider? I don't know. But that's happening. These cats is flying up and away. And I flicked it away like so many times. Like, it kept coming back with attitude. But it wasn't gonna do nothing. It wasn't trying to bite me. It just kept jumping on me like I was some trophy or some shit. Like it was trying to claim me or something. But yeah, man, I'm still kind of perplexed. I followed it with my eyes. I thought it was gonna land on the rock in front of me, but nope. Like a hot knife through butter, it went up, I was like, what? And I watched it go up, up fast. That's what really tripped me out, is how fast it shot off. I was like, what the hell kind of spider flies in the air? It flew. It didn't have wings. I know it, because I flicked it plenty of times. Yeah, I thought I killed it the first time I flicked it so hard. This shit came right back. I flicked it to the left, upwind of me, and it came back. And then the last time I flicked it, I missed it, and it jumped off downwind, but flew up. Like I said, over this wall, and just kept going up. No land. Just straight up. I knew it was going up because I knew the wind was hitting the wall and pushing up, and it caught the web. But yeah, this thing kept going up, like it was jettisoned into space, bro, as if there was no gravity. Like somebody turned the gravity off on this bad boy. I don't know what else to tell you, man. It just doesn't happen often. But yeah, I had a theory. The reason why I said I think they fly higher than 5 kilometers, the jet stream, is because the firmament. Like, something like, if there's cirrus clouds up there floating, I think these spiders can get up there. I think these spiders can web clouds. Like, I think spiders can web, especially the little jumping ones. These things can weave clouds. Because whenever they can jump on something, they just keep on going. No, what I mean is, by clouds, is their web is like they said, their webbing is water resistant, water repellent. Their legs are water repellent, so they can land on droplets of water and jump off, web it and jump off, sling it, whatever, maneuver around with it to move themselves centrifugally in any whatever desire. I don't know, but definitely snowflakes. It'd be hard for it to go up because the snowflakes would probably be chopping the web. But, well, maybe the snowflakes do stop it, and the rain does stop it. But that's what I'm saying. When it's not raining and those clouds are just floating by, those spiders get caught up in those clouds. We're talking about 5 miles up, or 5 kilometers up, straight up in the air. 5 kilometers up. That's what I was saying. I was like, look, man, one thing that I noticed was these darn webs don't look like they have a limit to how far high I've seen them go. So that's what made me think about how these super spiders just hopped the hell up off my knee and took off up in the sky like it was nothing. And it was it took off with a long web, just straight from my knee, phew, and just took off. I don't even know how it got the web off. I think I swiped at the web, and I tried to pull it down, but the wind was blowing, and it just kept going. It kept going, like it spooled so fast, it just kept going. Like the wind was blowing the spider and the web. It was going. It wasn't even a long wind. It was just like a quick gust, and it wasn't even a gust. It was like maybe a few leaves blowing around. But yeah, it wasn't really that impressive of a win for that much to happen. That's what I'm playing off of. That this can happen on light conditions and certain geography. Like I said, if you have steps, the wind hits it and then flows a current over the steps and up the steps, depending on the direction of the wind. But yeah, those spiders, that spider would be floating on the current right up the damn step without damn touching the step, pretty much, on the web. And another thing, most spiders balloon holding on to an object, sticking their abdomen, straightening their abdomen out, pointing it to the sky, their butt to the sky. They be tooting it up, and then they'll shoot out their web, and in the wind they'll let it wind out, they'll spool it out like a kite until they catch some wind enough to get up off the ground. But no, not the jumping spider. This bad boy can launch like a harpoon straight up and keep going. That shit was crazy. It was like some UFO shit, bro. It was literally like some Spider-Man Marvel, as if I'm like Galactus, like a giant or something. Not even Galactus, but as if I'm some type of giant, and that was like a little Spider-Man, and I was too slow. He was just very fast. Like I'm the Ant-Man and I'm all giant, and that was the Spider-Man. It was just too fast. I was too slow. And it went like Space Jam on my ass real fast. 0 to Space Jam in no time. Like, now that makes me think another thing about the spiders, webs, and kings' palaces. Because there's a kingdom above and there's a kingdom here. There's a kingdom coming, there's a kingdom already here. And then there's a kingdom below this. There's kingdoms below this also. But the spiders can balloon their butts up there into another dang kingdom, another dimension, if you will. So imagine cloaked ships. Those spiders would just be sitting on those damn cloaked ships. A cloak flying palace. Those spiders would be on or in those palaces. Spiders that are here will be there. You get it? Because of especially, I made the videos about the pyramids in the sky. The invisible pyramid in the sky over the Mississippi River. So that would make easy access. I don't know if it's easy. Is 5 kilometers high enough? I don't know. I don't know if 5 kilometers is high enough to reach that pyramid. But it's getting it's around that area. And that's what I'm saying, like it doesn't make sense for it to just stop at 5 kilometers if they can get that high. It doesn't make any sense. Why would it stop at 5 kilometers? That's what I'm saying. Like if you're looking at what I'm saying, what they just said is they can get up to, or a little under 5 kilometers. But that does not make sense. Wind, how high is wind? They talk about the jet stream. Okay, jet stream typically exists at altitudes of 20,000 to 40,000 feet, approximately 6 to 12 kilometers above the Earth's surface. It's found near the top of the troposphere, where most of the Earth's weather occurs. Okay, so how can you go from they're in the jet stream, but they're only under 5,000 kilometers, when the jet stream is approximately meeting it at 6 and goes double that to 12? So it says to 40,000 feet. The highest jet streams, such as the polar night jet, oh shucks, polar night jet, highest jet stream. I thought they were talking about a real damn jet, like a man-made jet. But no, they're talking about what I'm talking about. There are high-altitude currents that flow through Earth's atmosphere. They are typically found at varying altitudes depending on their type. The polar jet, about 30,000 feet, 9.1 kilometers. Maximum height, up to 40,000 feet, 12 kilometers. That's the polar jet stream. Subtropical jet stream, 30 to 40. Polar night jet stream is approximately 60,000 feet, 18.3 kilometers, up to 80, 24.4 kilometers up. See, that's what I'm talking about. Generally located on 30 foot, reach heights of 40. Polar night jet streams, which performs during winter months, can reach altitudes up to about 80,000 feet. Vary in height based on seasonal changes in atmospheric conditions. These fast-moving air currents play a significant role in weather patterns and climate. See, that's that. See, when you get the full information, now you know the capabilities and the capabilities, no pun intended, of what a spider can get up to. The spider's capabilities, at least, is the jet stream. The night polar jet stream, I don't know, but definitely the jet stream. Okay? So yeah, we're talking 6 kilometers to 24 kilometers range up in the sky, up above the earth, 24 kilometers. Spiders. See, that's what I'm talking about. These things can get up to like spaceship shit, like damn near space. That's what I'm saying. These cats gotta be in space. Spiders have to be in space. I don't even think they need air or oxygen to breathe. They just need, I don't think they need to breathe, do they? Do they need to breathe? Do spiders breathe air? When I was young, they used to say insects don't need air to breathe. Spiracles, which allow air to enter a network of tubes called trachea, that deliver oxygen directly to their tissues. Spiders do not breathe air in the same way humans do. Instead, they use a process called passive diffusion through structures called book lungs. While they do not actively pump air, they still require oxygen to survive. Okay. This has become a widespread myth that Rod Crawford and the Burke Museum has set out to dispel. He says neither spiders nor insects actually breathe, therefore they cannot hold their breath. Examine how spiders breathe and what you need to know about spider control to make it effective. They do not actually pump air into their bodies. Instead of breathing takes place through a kind of passive diffusion. Arachnids have two types of breathing apparatuses. The first are called book lungs. Although they are referred to as lungs, they have little resemblance to human lungs. The lungs look like pages of a book. Each page is a hollow air-filled plate that is open to the air through slits on the abdomen. The hemolymph spider blood surrounds the inner surface of the plates, and hemocyanin, similar to red blood cells, carry oxygen and exchanges carbon dioxide. The slit openings of the book lungs can expand and contract, but never fully close. The second way spiders breathe is when trachea. These are very small tubes that branch out often from the book lungs and run throughout the body. Trachea will allow the passage of air and open directly to the surface through small holes called spiracles. Some spiders have only one trachea and no book lungs, and other spiders have one or two book lungs. Since spiders do not actively breathe and cannot hold their breath underwater, they can survive these things better than other bugs. Okay? The body hair on a spider can trap air and make a film that can exchange some oxygen and carbon dioxide with the surrounding water. This does not work long term, but spiders can go for many minutes fully submerged. That's okay. Alright, so they do breathe air. Oxygen, I should say. Well, in the upper atmosphere, oxygen is more rich. Nitrogen is more rich. Until you reach the vacuum of space, where it becomes thinner. Because they have I'm trying to figure this out. How are they getting up there? And how are they surviving? They said 25 days without eating. Like I said, that's what the hell? They up in the sky for 25 days, no fuel. I'm trying to figure this out, bro. Like, because those webs don't have to come down. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm starting to think about. Cirrus clouds. Like, cause think about this. I don't know if y'all ever seen the video where they show the moon. Somebody's recording the moon, and like they see this straight line go across the moon surface, what looks like the surface of the moon, and they're like, "Oh, what the hell is that?" It make it look like the moon is like a hologram, like we're watching TV or something. And it occurred to me later on that they're looking through a telescope, and if a spider web were to cross in between, you'll be looking more than likely at the spider web. If they were to judge which way the wind was blowing, could have stopped that. But who knows? Wind may not be blowing that same direction at that altitude. But yeah, I think, so now I dare say it. I'll finally get to the point of this. I think spider webs could have been some sort of adhesive to like lock the dome, because anti-water properties, it could hold back water, it could dam water, dam and dome and dam. Wow. 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 World Wide Web. Wow. Waters above, waters below. Wow. Okay. So something's going on here. Who knows who knows the compound structure of webbing at different altitudes? No one knows. Like, for sure, like what happens to these webs when they get that high up. Like, they can just become a part of some, so you know how when they always show you, like, there's a dome in the sky and they'll show something hitting it, and it'll look like it'll have graphene hexagonal shape to it, right? That technology looking shape to it, right? Okay. Spider webs. Insect kingdom. Holy cow. The honeycomb dome inside of the Vatican. That's what they're showing. A honeycomb dome inside of the Vatican. the dome. So, but this is octagonal. And they got it doming, the way it domes out like that also. Spider web. That's spider webbing. And it's all on the roof. The roof represents webbing. It's all webbing. Things caught up in the web. In the dam. Stuck in the dome, stuck in the dam. So everything on the ceiling, they're kind of trying to depict this like some type of heavenly scene, right? But it's all webbed. It's all weaved. It's all webbed in like the money on the dollar bill. It's all weaved in. So and they got it as above, so below on that one. Same as it is on the ceiling, same it is on the floor. Essentially. Now the thing is, Jonathan Kleck kept talking about how it represents the fallen angels and how they devour the souls of men through serpents and insects, if I'm not mistaken. It's a dual system. And he would show like how the Vatican, the throne in the Vatican that the Pope sits on, is like a penis and a vagina, but all at the same time. There's like locusts and like dragons and stuff like that, like insects and reptiles. So he's showing you how all this is supposed to be like the sperm, the land of milk and honey, the sperm, where this is the penis and this is the vagina. And then at the same time, there's like insects right here on like the nards of that thing. And then this is like the Antichrist, the fallen, the Nephilim, how they were giants compared to humans. And then the serpent is the actual, you're inside of the serpent's mouth, and his tongue is the owl. See how his tongue is the owl and his teeth are the pillars back there? So this throne is inside of the serpent's mouth. He is the spokesperson inside of the serpent's mouth. Him, like, these are like some type of ritualistic, crazy, satanic stuff going on. Out of the mouth of serpents come 3 evil spirits like frogs. That's crazy. Well, that's the mouth of the serpent. Even the outside of the building is shaped like a serpent. And the inside, the mouth. But that's not like Antichrist, this is false prophet. False prophet stuff. Counterfeit kingdom. But yeah, there's just jumping from that spider to like religion, how it talks about spiders' webs in the top of king's palaces, and it never really dawned on me how real that, how much implications that says. You know what I mean? Like the implications. It's not just here on earth. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about like the Nephilim and freaking the fallen angels and their technology cloaked and staged all around us. Their dimensions. Remember Jack and the Beanstalk? You think spiders wasn't up there before Jack? Come on, huh? Stargate, how them damn pyramids come in. Think them spiders wasn't jumping on and hitching a ride? Come on now. Like I said, these little critters are too intelligent. 8 legs and 8 eyes. Come on, bro. That's intelligence. And they're hunters and shit without webs, running around doing Spider-Man shit. That is like you said, if science, maybe my vision was right. Maybe they were working on the jumping spider. Let's see if they got GMO jumping spiders. That'll be the last thing I look up. Super spiders capable of producing silk with extraordinary features. Don't worry, it sounds more terrifying than it actually is. U.S. Navy used gene editing technology to make house spiders produce red fluorescent silk. Oh no. Oh no. 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 This is what I'm talking about. World Wide Web of deceit. If they put this red fluorescent silk into the sky and let those guys balloon that shit, you might as well put on Dyson goggles. You're gonna be seeing hell on earth. For real, for real. Why do you think spider's web is clear for a reason? Clear to blue. Even like it's supposed to blend in with the sky. If you paint their web red, you're gonna see hell. What the hell are they talking about? But the breakthrough is a critical step towards modifying spider silk properties and creating new super materials for industries ranging from textiles to aerospace. The team at Germany's University of Bayreuth, led by Professor Thomas Scheibel, successfully applied CRISPR-Cas9, a molecular tool that acts as genetic scissors, to cut and modify DNA sequences to spiders for the first time. The study, published in the scientific journal Angewandte Chemie, demonstrates how this technology introduces modifications that enhance the extraordinary properties of spider silk, turning it into a next generation super material. Okay. Into a female, they injected CRISPR-Cas9 into components into female Parasteatota tepidoriorum, a common house spider species. To facilitate the process, the spiders were anesthetized with carbon dioxide, anesthetized, manually held under a microscope. The solution, which included a gene encoding a red fluorescent protein called MRFP, like mRNA, huh? I gotta save that. Was delivered into the eggs within the female's abdomens before mating with males, so that the resulting baby spiders could carry the genetic modification. What? First, disable a gene called synoculus. Oculus? So oculus, what does oculus mean? Oculus, like optometrist, ocular sight, vision. Okay, so synoculus senoculus, so their web is see-through, responsible for the development of all spider eyes in order to study its function. Well, maybe the spider's eyes have to do with its web. And then the second, to insert fluorescent protein into the MASP2 gene, the mRNA of the spider, which produces the silk thread spiders use to move, hunt, hike, chill out in modified specimens. Disabling senoculus cause total or partial eye loss, confirming its critical role in visual development. According to the study, without this gene, spiders fail to form eye structures, though the cornea develops normally. This is disgusting. So it causes the fibers produced by modified spiders to glow red under ultraviolet light. Okay, under ultraviolet light. The only reason why the UV rays, what are we protecting ourselves from? What? Oh, UV rays. Okay, so UV light, UV rays, what's the difference? All right, so they're gonna glow red. Now, I think based off of the density of the atmosphere, the ultraviolet light has a little trouble like the way that our eyes adjust to it. We don't recognize it like it's there, but we don't recognize it. It has to be like assisted, I think. But its effect on things are still there, if I'm not mistaken. So they're gonna create red spider web under ultraviolet light. Like I said, bro, there's gonna be some serious shit. Especially if one of these spiders bites somebody with this stuff in their DNA. What's going on? And they're making them blind, so they're just gonna bite off of fight. And when they balloon away and get away, come on now. What are these guys really trying to do? So they're studying, but spiders are like the most sneaky. I just told you how these things just busted right out when I tried to kill it. I didn't try to kill it. I tried to flick it in a direction where I knew it wouldn't come back. And I guess it read my mind and took off into the sky. So I'm just trying to figure that out. While these cats, so they're saying it could be used to strengthen the tensile strength of the silk by turning it red. That doesn't even make sense. Under UV light, that doesn't make sense. That sounds like a poor excuse that they're spending money. Okay, so it says, this accomplishment was no small feat. Genomes are complex in their embryonic development, marked by unique cell migration stages, complicates genetic editing. According to the researchers, in fact, only 7% of egg sacs that were treated with CRISPR solution contain modified offspring, a low percent efficiency rate typical for species with large broods. Common house spiders carry about 250 spiders per sac. So look, if 7% of 250 come out, then the next generation is already that, and then they have babies, that's 100%. So I don't know what they talking about. Once nature once they hit you right on nature, it's 100%. So they still just talking. They're just putting in excuses, bro. Excuses. Additionally, the spiders are cannibalistic in nature, which require them to be reared in isolation Not all spiders are cannibalistic in nature, but many do eat their males after mating. See? Come on now. They're doing this to black widows. They're doing it to black widows. Talking about some super silk. Now think about this. So this further explains my hypothesis that the dome or the firmament would be made of spider silk, because they balloon that high up in the sky. It has to be. It's see-through. It gets high in the environment, and there's trillions and trillions and trillions upon seasons of relayering it. It's a dam. It's a dome. A dome is a dam. Let me see something. Let me show you what an underwater spider web looks like. And then we'll call it that. I'm gonna call it a wrap. And I guess that'll make it the thumbnail. Come on, give me some power here. Alright, what we're gonna do is go back. The diving bell spider. Why would they call it a bell? Because the bell is the shape of the dome, the dam. Now does it make more sense? And this thing is catching fish. So they're trapping the web, the water, the air above the surface and then pulling it down. This is pretty cool. Global, global, globe, bell. What the hell? Yeah, this is just as impressive as the flying spider. Just as impressive as a spider that took off and flew away on my blood. This is like, literally, like, this could be what the dome firmament is. And the web is like fiberglass up there, holding the atmosphere together, trapping moisture in and out. trapping air. And there could be layers. There could be a maze to get through. Cracks, whatever you want to call it. There could be passages through, leaking. Many things. It could be frozen over. Reinforced like tundra in the sky. Like a firmament. Like if you froze a bell spider. Oh, you know what I can see there? I can't even see the sunlight is turned on an angle. Nah, I don't see no frozen underwater bills. But it just makes me wonder, you know what I mean? Shoot, if a darn spider can balloon in space, in the sky, for 25 days with no food, pretty sure that ice, and they already got food up in there with them, they just turn around in the fridge and pull something out. They good to go. They could probably hit up the whole winter season, no problem. They call it a scuba spider. These cats is tripping. She could have just called it a bell spider. But yeah, man, that's what I mean by like some World Wide Web type stuff. See, you guys thought I was just talking noise, huh? Thought I was just talking crap. Nah, I'm really considering it, fam. I'm really considering this. But yeah, let me go ahead and put this on now, fam. Yeah, and let's do the Super Spider-Man or something. I don't know. Super spiders. Nah, we'll just leave that thumbnail the way I got it with the bell spider. We'll go there. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed my little story today. Have a blessed one.